welcome to American Dream Latin Souls. I'm Daniel Ortiz, and today my guest is entrepreneur, restaurateur, and reality TV star Chef Martin Rios. Martin, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me here. I appreciate it.
Martin, you've got a really interesting story, and I think in American terminology we call it a Horatio Alger story. And Horatio Alger, for those who don't know, is a symbol for someone who starts off with very meager or humble beginnings, and through sheer work and effort and dedication becomes a great success. So you definitely fit that profile. So we're very glad to hear your story.
Thank you.
So just for our audience, Martin, you are the chef and the founder of Chef or Restaurant Martin. Mm-hmm. But you started off in Mexico. You're born in Mexico.
Right.
And through sheer hard work and effort, you own your own restaurant. Not only your own restaurant, but your own restaurant in Santa Fe, New Mexico, which I think there's more restaurants than there are automobiles.
Exactly.
And you've also been on national TV, and we'll talk about that, your national exposure.
Right.
So you've got a great story. So before we get into your story, Martin, the question we ask all our guests is, what is your American dream, and what does it mean to you?
You know, my American dream is, coming from a humble family, growing up and coming to this country and reading and seeing what a person can do to be a success. And so for me, that was kind of my drive, that there's so many people that have started from very small, and to this point they become, whether great actors, great chefs, great lawyers, and that was kind of what drove me to become to where I am right now.
Okay. Now you own a world-class restaurant. Restaurant Martin is known all over the country. It's been mentioned in New York Times. Obviously, you've gotten attention and become invited to appear on Iron Chef, a reality TV show. So, world-class restaurant, but you started off, as humble as you can get as a dishwasher.
Exactly.
Is that right?
Right, exactly. I mean,
so that's an incredible journey. So tell us, how does somebody get from a dishwasher to a world-class chef?
That was my first introduction into this career, basically. Mm-hmm. Like a 17-year-old kid, you want to be able to make a little bit of money to pay some of your expenses, and and my first job was given to me an opportunity to become a dishwasher. Okay. And at this point I became a dishwasher, and I did it for it's like the longest period of time that I remember. It must have been for like 2 to 3 years washing dishes, and mm-hmm. I've enjoyed it. It was something new to me. But I had great mentors. I worked for great chefs, where they saw my potential that I could advance. That I had the willingness to learn and experiment. So
did you know, starting off when you were a dishwasher, that you wanted to become a chef?
I did, because I grew up with a family of chefs. My grandmother.
Tell us about your background.
My background is, I was born in Guadalajara, and during when I was a small kid, my grandmother had a restaurant at an open market in Guadalajara. Mm-hmm. And then when she couldn't take care of the restaurant anymore, she gave it to my mom. Mm-hmm. So, being that you are in an open market, so my mom will send us to go and pick up the fresh vegetables, the fresh proteins, and bring them into the restaurant.
So the restaurant business is in your blood, is what
exactly,
I'm hearing. Okay.
Right, exactly.
Right. So at that point in time, did you see yourself owning a restaurant in the U.S. or
no,
becoming a chef?
Not at all. I mean, my desire was always to become an architect. And I think that shows a lot now. My part of my learning education to how I build food, how I structure food. Mm-hmm. But yeah, as a kid, I didn't have that kind of desire of becoming a chef. When we came to this country, I was 14 years old. We went to school, and then, again, as a 17-year-old kid, I decided, you know what, maybe get him into doing something, you know, and my first opportunity was given to me as a dishwasher.
Okay.
So, you know, from there, I think after my second or third year of washing dishes, my bosses, my chefs were, they started to introduce me more into the product. How did the product work and what did it mean? So that's how I kind of started to think maybe this is the career that I like to keep following.
Well, we shared probably just that in common. Is that my first real job was a dishwasher as well at First Cafeteria when I was 16. So but that's as far as it went. You know, to make money, of course.
Exactly.
That was my first real job when I got my Social Security card. So, Martin, when did you first realize that you had a dream or a vision to?
You know, I think I could be probably when I was probably 18 years old, 19 years old, when I decided this is the path that I want to follow. Okay. You know, and there was so much to learn to get to where I am right now.
So did you see that vision? Was it just to become a chef, or did you want to own your own restaurant at that time?
You know,
what was the vision?
My vision, of course, was to become a great cook.
Okay.
You know, and
not a
learn,
chef, a cook.
Not a chef. You know, to become a great cook and learn from some of the best people. Okay. And you know, my dreams kind of started to go little by little. I took it one step at a time. I wanted to become a good cook. Once I achieved that, and I did fairly well, then there was other, you know, I couldn't stand still. I needed to continue to learn. So I figured, no, if this man can be a chef, why can't I be a chef? You know, and then, you know, I learned from that person what it took to become a chef. And so, you know, once I got to that point, you know, there was so many other dreams. You know, you know, of course, to have a family and to be able to take care of my family, and how would I do that, and also continue my education to continue to grow. You know?
So let's talk about where the vision is now. We know you started off in washing dishes and gradually evolved into. So tell us about Restaurant Martin.
You know, Restaurant Martin has been open for 3.5 years, and of course this has been a long way dream. I mean, you know, we started looking. My wife and I, we started looking at owning a place, and probably about 12 years ago, when I decided, okay, you know, I worked for different companies. I've done fairly well for the companies, and
you got a lot of attention as a chef at those other.
Exactly, you know, and that kind of helped us. It helped us out to be able to build where we are right now. So, you know, 12 years ago, we decided, okay, you know, it's we should start looking for something, you know, and we just never had we could never find the right spot. And, you know, sometimes, of course, you get afraid. You're like, oh my God, you're going to leave a company where you know that your finances are there every monthly.
That's the entrepreneur path. That's the entrepreneur part of Martin.
Every
right?
month,
the risk.
You know, exactly. But then, you know, you decide, okay, you know, eventually you have to grow up. You have to be able to move forward. And
well, that's true for an entrepreneur. See, I believe entrepreneurs are born and not made. And see, and some people, their path in life is security, comfort, security. Their goal is to work for a large company, have that security, have that steady paycheck, and to sit back and retire. But that's when you say I had to. That's the entrepreneur in you, that wants to grow. So tell us about some of the recognition that you've received number one as a chef and your restaurant nationally.
Right, you know, nationally. I mean, we've been nominated for a very much a national award, and you know, we're hoping that this year will be our year, and is the James Beard Award, which is given in recognition to the best chef in the Southwest and in your region, which you know, that will be an ultimate award for us, as well as you know, receiving an award. We've been nominated for a new restaurant from the James Beard Association also. So those are the two awards that we are kind of focusing right now to get to that point and get us closer to that award.
And you had a mention in the New York Times.
We have,
What was
you
that?
know, we were mentioned in the New York Times as you have 36 hours in Santa Fe. You must spend time spend an evening at Restaurant Martin, which is, you know, it's a to come from the New York Times. That is, you know, that's
Well,
a
there's a
great,
lot to
well
do in Santa
mentioned.
Fe, so if you have, you know, that is quite a recognition.
Right, definitely, definitely. So, you know,
Right.
we're kind of, you know, we're looking forward to great things, and that's kind of where the interpreter kind of comes along also, because, you know, we're the type of people that we're the type of business owners that we like to move forward, you know,
Okay.
and yeah, there, you know, there's challenges, and
We're going to
but
talk
we can
about that.
overcome them,
Yeah. Okay.
you know.
That's a good. Hold that thought, because we're definitely going to. But you know, because owning a restaurant or running a restaurant is notoriously difficult and fickle, and there's a high turnover, of course. And you know, you've been established, and to get those national recognition is you know, is pretty amazing. So I want to talk about your experience being a reality TV star, if you will. You know, you were invited to several reality shows. One, I think the most prominent one is Iron Chef.
Right,
Tell us
right.
about Iron Chef and your experience with that.
You know, that was it was a great experience, you know, because anyone that gets invited to this kind of event, you got to feel very proud, you know, because there's so many chefs in this country.
Oh, yes.
And to be able to get to that level is it's really amazing. The experience is scary, you know. You know, it's scary because you got to fly to New York to do this competition,
And so what is Irish? It's a competition, right?
it's a competition that you are competing against pretty much an Iron Chef, which is the best of the best, you know.
Okay.
And so and you know what you do is there's a secret ingredient that you don't know about until you get there, you know. Until you get there, that's when you get to know what the secret ingredient is about. And you are given an hour to develop 5 dishes. And out of those 5 dishes, it has to be 3 of each one of those dishes for the judges to taste.
Okay.
So, you
So a
know,
little
the
bit of pressure.
yeah, the pressure is tremendous because, first of all, you don't know the equipment, you don't know the kitchen itself, you've never been there before, and the time is you know, is clicking, you know, so you got to move as fast as you can to be able to achieve what you want to do, you know. And so that was a great challenge. It was definitely stressful, but it was a great honor.
Sure,
It
of
was,
course.
you know, at the end of the day was a great honor to be a part of that, you know. And that's part of your, you know, kind of building your resume. It's,
Sure,
you
of
know,
course.
if you will,
Yeah.
you know.
Especially be plucked out of a, you know, Santa Fe is a small community. I mean, it's probably one of the largest tourist destinations in the country,
Right.
and you know, even maybe even the world. But to be plucked from a, you know, small town, I think it's a great honor to be
Exactly,
recognized on
exactly,
TV.
and you know,
So
and
what would
that's,
Grandma say? What would Grandma say
oh
about
my
that?
God, yeah, you know, actually, you know, my mom was so excited. You know, they were watching on TV when he filmed, and it was just, you know, they were so proud, you know, because yeah, you know, I come from a very humble family, you know, and to see that, to see their son
Right, of course.
where it's been, it's, you know, they're very proud.
So tell me, what role does family play in your career and your business life? Because one of the distinctions between being a Latino in the U.S. and being a, you know, traditional American is that our values are a little bit different. And Latino values are faith, family, and frijoles. And frijoles, of course, is a catch-all for culture.
Right.
But tell me about what role family plays in your business. And
You
your
know,
career.
it's really, I mean, their support is amazing. You know, I mean, when I met my wife, she knew what my life was about. You know, and she
And your
was
wife, Jennifer, she helps you run the business.
She helped me run the business, and you know, she's our general manager. And but you know, when we met 18 years ago, she kind of knew my background. She knew that you know, my business requires for me to be at work a lot of hours, you know.
Right.
And so she has been giving me that support from day one, you know, and she's been able to understand you know, this is my path, this is my career, and I needed to be able to in order to succeed, I have to make some kind of adjustments,
Right,
you know.
right.
And you know, my kids are very they're amazing supporters
Are
of
they
my
involved in the
career.
business
They're a little
a little
bit
bit?
involved in the business. I mean, they come into the restaurant, and you know, we just did an event, a benefit event last weekend, and you know, it was all voluntary. All my employees volunteer,
Okay.
and my kids volunteer also.
Is
So
that
they
right?
were in the kitchen with me, volunteering to be able to you know, to raise money for our cause. You know, so they get involved in the kitchen a little bit.
All right,
Yeah.
very good. So we talked briefly about the risks of being an entrepreneur and the entrepreneurial path. So tell me, what are the risks that you have faced and some of the challenges? Now, I know entrepreneurs, they all say challenges are taxes and paperwork and regulation. So that's a given. But what are the personal risks that you have faced, and how did you approach that in your career?
You know, I mean, to me, you know, it's all a matter of how you manage your restaurant. You know, I mean, we are very honest. You know, we have to, we build a family with our staff, and so that has been able to move us forward to see that, yeah, there's risk of, you know, some days you don't have business, some days you are really busy, and we have been able to understand a lot of that, and we, you know, we
Let's
look
talk
at
about
it.
the risk, though, from going from a secure, you know, you had made a name for yourself as a chef, Santa Fe, Santa Fe's finest restaurants. You could have easily just laid back and you know, become a chef
Right.
and basked in your in your fame there. But you took a leap of faith. I think sometimes, you know, to own your own
Right.
business, there's no guarantees. You went from a guarantee security to a risk. So tell me about that transition and that
You know,
leap.
that, I mean, you know, it comes a time where you have to make that decision, you know, and we did a lot of research
Okay.
about owning a restaurant. We spoke to a lot of our colleagues. We spoke to a lot of friends that have owned restaurants, and even, you know, some that have opened and they've closed, unfortunately. And
Right.
and you know, it's scary. But one of the things that we did a lot of research. I felt very comfortable that leaving a secure job and going to open up your own place, I was able to have the same drive to get us there, to get us forward, to find a way to make this restaurant a success. You know, and it all comes from all the training that you've been given working for corporations, where you see you know, corporations are the same. You know, that some corporations do well, some corporations don't do well enough, and so you learn from all that. You learn from all the meetings that you've attended to. You know, you learn from all your financial meetings that you've gone to. So all that prepares you to, when one day you have to say, you know what, yeah, it will be a risk, and you know, you don't know what could happen,
Right.
but you inside know that you can make it work. And that's basically
So
where
that's something.
where
That's the
George-
confidence that you had about yourself, within yourself.
Right, you know, I mean, because if you don't, then why, you know, why buy opening? Because, you know, if you're gonna go in doubting about, will I be able to make it?
Right, right.
Then, you know, that's you will have those problems will come to you, and you won't know what to do. I mean, you know, every day we have issues where, the expenses go up somewhat, but you got to find a way to move them around where you are making it more positive than negative, and that's kind of where we are. You know, that's kind of what all that working for all these corporations and learning from cookbooks and going to school.
So education is important. Education.
Definitely, definitely. It prepares you for that, because, you know, when I went to a culinary school, I have to develop a restaurant from start to end, and doing the research of economy. Is it in the right area? You know, is it in the right area? Do you have enough parking? And, you know, all that, even though it's not, it's all visual.
It's all part of the big business,
You know, yeah,
the big picture,
you know,
right?
you learn from all that. And so, you know, when it was time, I figured that we could do this.
Okay. So what makes Restaurant Martin different? Again, we talked about Santa Fe being, having so many restaurants, so many fine restaurants, and we've got, tourists from all over the world who are expecting, first class, five-star treatment. So what makes yours different? And your food, the presentation is amazing. And I don't know if that's part of your architecture background or blood in you, but because it's a beautiful presentation. So what makes is that part of it?
It's all different things. I mean, it's the way you get treated, the way you get greeted when you walk into the front door. We have the most amazing, friendly staff. My wife is there from the minute we open to the minute we close, so she's always communicating with our servers and also with our customers.
So it's not just the food.
No. I mean, it works hand in hand. I mean, I develop a product, I develop a dish, and they're in charge of selling it. And if you don't do something that is exciting, that can be a new dish or could be a new presentation, a new taste, a new combination of ingredients, they won't sell it. So it all works. We all kind of marry each other. The front and the back are just as even. And that's our success. It's all been the way we treat our customers. All of our locals are a huge priority to us. We take care of our locals. I think better than anyone else in town. We do. If a local comes in and it's dinner time, and if it's a holiday, and it wants something that is not on the menu, we find a way to give that to our customers.
It's a personalized service.
So that's how we. If they have a concern, we'll take care of it immediately. We are very aware of how to treat a customer, because we need those customers to come back to us.
So repeat business is a big part of it.
So that's our success. I mean, our success is being loyal and being honest.
Okay, and I think that's true, but yet not a lot of restaurants, but there's our restaurants who provide that as well. Yet something makes Restaurant Martin different. Something about either your dish, you're getting national attention.
I think
you say it's not the food, but I think that has a lot to do with it as well.
It's a lot. I mean, I think a lot of.
There's a secret. What's the secret ingredient?
Honesty. Honesty.
Okay.
Just pure honesty. I mean, what we give you, what we serve to you is honest food, is good food, is produced the way it should be, and the way the server takes care of you is very personal. So we do that, and and of course, all of the awards that I've obtained through so many years, being named chef of the year for New Mexico, chef of the year for Santa Fe, all these great awards that we have received. Of course, that's going to help you. A lot of people that come to Santa Fe, they're being recommended from friends that they live in Chicago, and that they've been into a restaurant before. So, all that has, without the media, of course, we will be just a small, what is it called, a best kept secret,
Yes,
and we don't want that. We want people to know who we are.
Right. Well, I mean, obviously the word has spread. I mean, it's well, and word of mouth advertising is the best you can get, even in this digital age. I mean, you cannot beat personal recommendation.
Right,
so you've obviously succeeded in that. So in the few minutes we have left, what are the biggest challenges you've had as an entrepreneur, and how did you overcome those?
It's I think is be able to stay within what's happening in our economy. I mean, we see the economy comes and it goes, and we react with that. We react with that to be able to be as careful as we can with our expenses, with how we manage the restaurant, how we can, as the economy changes, we have to change a little bit. Okay. So, by doing that, of course, we don't want to sacrifice what we offer on a daily basis, you know,
Right, so
to
you have
all
to
of our
remain
customers.
flexible to,
Exactly.
but at the same time be consistent.
Exactly.
And that's one of the prime directives of restaurant business is the consistency.
Exactly.
Of
You know,
course,
we
so
want to be able to be as consistent as we possibly can to, so that we show our customer that even though, yeah, that, you know, there's issues, we still don't sacrifice that. We're still gonna give you the same quality of product, the same quality of service on a daily basis.
Okay. And so what advice would you give to any budding entrepreneur who's watching the program who maybe wants to be a cook or a chef or maybe another business, and maybe they're working in a safe, secure corporate environment?
You know,
and if they feel that calling, right, that entrepreneur call that I want to do this and start my own business, what advice would you give to them?
you know, it's for me. My advice would be, you know, do your research. You know, do your research. You know, and be proud of who you are. You know, be proud of who you are. Be humble. Be honest. You know, and you know, things will come to you. You know, don't just say, you know what, I made it to this period and that's it, you know, because there's so much to learn. There's so much to
Always
give.
something to learn.
You know, and
Well,
so
you mentioned humility. That's not a trait, American trait. We talked about the distinction between traditional American values and Latino values, and as Latinos, we are humble. You know, it's considered bad manners in our society, or in our culture rather, to brag about your accomplishments and to flaunt your wealth, but yet in America, sometimes you have to stand out in the crowd to succeed. But humility, I believe, definitely is a success secret, because you know people help you along the way, and people always like to, you know, if you're humble and if you approach it right, you know, things do happen and things do come to you.
You know, I was very, you know, through my career, even to now, I've always been very open-minded. You know, that's kind of where my humble comes in. You know, I know that there's so many people that know more than I do, and I respect that. And you know, and eventually, I would like to get to that point. You know, and when I read about these people, you know, I feel very humble that I came from a country that I was living in a very humble environment, and I made it to this point. And if I can get to where they are, that would be great, you know. But I do it with honesty, and also I never brag about what I've done or what I become, you know, because I've done it with a lot of hard work.
Right.
You know, it's been a lot of hard work.
It's taken you, you know, what, 14 years to become an overnight success?
Yeah, definitely.
At least.
Yeah, and that's where I see, that's the advice that I give to someone that wants to become a chef in my career. You know, it's you know, just be open-minded, accept from the mistakes that you make, you know, and learn from them. You know, learn from them, because that's going to help you in your future. And that's kind of where my drive has been. You know, my employees right now, they're from dishwashers to line cooks. And I tell them, you know what, you're going to leave me one day, but you're going to go to the next level.
Okay, so you support that in your...
Of course.
Okay.
Of course.
All right,
of
all
course.
right, all right. Well, Martin, thank you for sharing your story. It's very inspiring, and like I said, you know, you've gone from very humble beginnings, and you're a world-class chef, and you have a world-class restaurant, and yet you are very humble. And what's one of the things that I've recognized in the community is people know of Chef Martin Rios, but they also love Chef Martin Rios and what you've established there. So you're doing something right.
You know, an opportunity was given to me. The city and our customers have given an opportunity to me, and I try to give back some of that, you know, by volunteering to certain events and things like that. So it's helped us both.
Very good, very good. Well, thank you for sharing your story with us. It's very inspiring. We wish you much success. And if anybody watching the show would want to visit Chef Martin Rios, it's Restaurant Martin in Santa Fe, New Mexico. And so thank you, Martin, for sharing your story.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me here. Appreciate it.
And I want to thank our audience for joining us on this version of American Dream Latin Souls. Make sure to visit us on the web at latinosuccess.com.